In this module, we are going to look at company resources required to implement a food safety system based on FSSC 22000. We're going to take you through what is it that you'll need to have before you can actually implement the FSSC 22000 food safety system. These are the topics that we're going to cover in this module. The first topic, premises and layout. The second topic, staff training. The third topic, ensure the product conforms to standards and legislation. The fourth topic is documentation. We are also going to look at internal audits on topic 5. On topic 6, we are going to look at food safety management systems, upkeep and maintenance. On topic 7, we are going to look at certification bodies and fees. On topic 8, we are going to look at when to do it yourself and when do you get help. In this section, we are going to look at premises and layout. So what are the premises? So premises are those facilities where you are handling and processing your food. It's maybe a building where you are handling your food, and sometimes it could be mobile premises like your vehicles. But in this particular presentation, we are going to look at immobile premises, where you store your packaging, where you process your food, where you keep your raw ingredients or your processing aids. You must ensure that your premises do not compromise the handling of your food or the safety of your product, your raw ingredients and processing aids. So how do you ensure that? Firstly, the location. It must be located in an area where there is no possibility of the external contaminants coming into contact with your food or contaminating your food. Let's put a simple example. You are not going to take your premises and put them next to a municipal waste dump, for an example, because of possible contaminants that could end up getting into your product. The way that you have designed also your facility or your premises should allow for thorough and proper cleaning. So you must be able to clean the high level areas, you must be able to clean behind machinery, and also allow for proper movement of people in around your facility. You must design it in such a way that there is no possibility of cross-contamination. Let's take an example for a laboratory. For an example, you will not put a laboratory where you check or you test your pathogens inside a processing area that opens directly into where you are processing the food, because of a possibility of cross-contamination. So it is important then to ensure that when you build or before you build your food handling facility, you must consult with somebody who's very familiar with what requirements there are in terms of a food handling facility, because it's different building a gym, for an example, and building a food handling facility, since you must take into account how the flow would occur. So you look at the packaging flow, the chemical flow, the raw material flow, people flow, and also your final product flow, and everything must take into account the safety as well as the integrity of your food. In topic 2, we are going to look at staff training. Staff training can either be done by training providers or can be done internally. What is important is to ensure that you comply fully with the requirements of your standard. It is cheaper to do it internally, but it can also be time consuming to develop the training material. You must also ensure that the person who is providing the training is competent and is familiar with what the standard requires. It is very important to ensure that you manufacture a legal product. So that means that you must check where your product falls in terms of legislation. Is it the Department of Agriculture, the Department of Health, and check what are the requirements or their requirements, so that you can be sure that it does in fact comply with certain regulations. For an example, heavy metal content, microbiological limits, nutritional information that must be on the product, etc. You must budget for those tests or for that verification, because it does cost money. So make sure that you get professional and or legal advice. You can get that from your food safety consultant or whichever body your product falls under, maybe a meat industry association, a citrus industry association. So you can get maybe that information from those bodies, either a consultant or an association or even government. Make sure that you provide enough financial resources for possible product corrective action costs. Documentation or paperwork is part and parcel of any food safety management system that you want to implement. Some organizations use a paperless system, but you still need somebody who's going to be allocated the responsibility to set up your initial documentation, to run and verify those documents, and to file them accordingly. So that can be very time consuming. Make sure that you have got an allocated staff member who does exactly that. In this topic, topic 5, we are going to discuss internal audits. Before we move to internal audits, maybe let's discuss a gap audit. It is very important for you to conduct a gap audit before you implement any food safety management system. A gap audit basically informs you where you are and what is it that you need to do to reach your certification goals. So basically it will tell you the documentation that you need, the structural changes that you need, as well as the training requirements. So I would advise anyone to first start with a gap audit. You just need to make sure that the person who does your gap audit knows exactly what they're talking about and they're familiar with your process. They're familiar also with the scheme requirements. You must ensure that you put a budget for internal audits. If you are using external consultants, you must budget for that. But you can also use your own staff members if they're experienced and they're familiar with the scheme requirements. You can then decide to get quotations from external auditors. You must ensure that you compare, but not only money, you must also compare the experience as well as expertise so that you can get the best value for your money. Under topic 6, we are going to look at food safety management system upkeep and maintenance. You must ensure that you allocate the responsibility of managing your system to somebody who's responsible, who's good with admin, and who's clued up in terms of the food safety management system standard. Because if you do not do that and you do it at the last minute before the audit, it certainly will show when you do that audit. It will overwhelm you and it may not be a true reflection of what is it that happens in your facility. You may want to maybe get consultants who come on monthly visit, bi-monthly visit or quarterly, just to check whether you are in fact still complying with the standard requirements. You must ensure that you allocate this responsibility to experienced staff. Of course, you can use consultants to do that for you, but if you do allocate it internally, make sure that your staff members know exactly what is it that they are doing. They are trained, they are experienced, and they are on the ball. Under lesson 7, we are looking at certification bodies and fees. So where can you find certification bodies? There are many certification bodies that you can use. You just need to ensure that they are accredited with a certain accreditation body. Normally it will be UCAS or ANAP. It depends which one is which. You just need to make sure that for FSSC 22000, they are on the certification body list. So you can always go to Google or whatever search engine that you use, type FSSC 22000 accredited certification bodies, go to the FSSC 22000 website, search, and that's where you'll see accredited certification bodies depending on where you are in the world. And you will do yourself a big favor if you use local certification bodies because they are usually cheaper than international ones that are based in other countries. So I would advise you to go to as many certification bodies as possible and get codes from different ones because they differ quite a lot, but just make sure that they are reputable. They will then send you an application form to apply for a certification. Normally, they will ask about the site, the number of employees, the scope of certification, where the facility is, if you have got any outsourced processes, the documentation, your hazard analysis, etc., etc. So you'll need to complete that certification documents and send it to your certification body. And after that, they will send you a proposal with the fees. And then you can select based on what is most convenient to you, either the cost of it or whether they are close to you. But if it is a recognized certification body, I think the cost will be the determining factor in for you to choose which one you go for. In this topic, we are going to look at when to do it yourself and when to get help. Do you have skilled and experienced staff members to implement and maintain the system? Do you have document templates for your food safety management system manual, like policies, procedures, forms, to speed up the process? Do you have a qualified internal auditor to do a gap and internal audit before certification? Do you have training programs for your staff in place? If your answer is no to any of these questions, you must probably need help. If you do need help, then you may choose to use an accredited and a reputable consulting company to come and assist you. Reached the end of this module. Thank you so much for watching. Should you need any assistance with food safety management system implementation, maintenance, training, internal audits, gap audits, or customizable document template toolkits, please do not hesitate to contact us. You also qualify for an hour free consultation, so you are more than welcome to contact us to book for that session. We will be more than happy to hear from you and discuss solutions that we can offer to you. Thank you.